You're leaning into my video. Little turd.
Mom, is this one good?
Yep. Good morning, neighbors. Good morning. I guess it's almost afternoon here, but wherever you are, whenever you're watching, hello. Nice to see you guys again. Today, we're doing a little experiment in the kitchen, but also I'm going to give you guys a garden tour update. So, we got a lot going on today. Today is a racetrack day for my husband. I have sent everybody off. Everybody is off to their extracurricular activities. I have the house to myself for just a few hours before I'm heading out to the racetrack to join up with the rest of my family. So I thought I'd spend a little time with you guys, take you into my garden, take you in my kitchen, and maybe take you to the racetrack. We'll see. So what we are experimenting with today is I just have like a plethora of huckleberries growing in my backyard. They're just volunteers. I didn't plant them. They've just existed. And this year they're doing really good. So I've got about 2 cups of huckleberries. Now I wrote myself out an experimental recipe. So we're gonna work through this together and see if it turns out. If it does turn out, I will share the recipe. I will put a link. If it has worked out in the future, you will know right now because there will be a link somewhere for the recipe so you guys can try it out for yourself. So I'm gonna call this gluten-free, rosemary-infused huckleberry lemon streusel bars? That's a work in progress. That might change. So I infused the butter with some fresh rosemary from my garden. I added, since I'm doing a gluten-free base, I looked at a whole bunch of different recipes online and kind of like got a feel for what I need to do. Since I'm using a gluten-free base, I am going to add I added lemon juice to it to add some extra moisture and also some flavor. So it sounds amazing in my head. Hopefully it'll be amazing in real life. Let me get the oven preheated. I do need to preheat it to 350 degrees. And then you saw me, I'm getting blinded by the sun right now. You saw me prep this. I just lined it with parchment paper, mostly because I want to be able to pop these out pretty quickly and cool them so I can take them with me to the racetrack to share with all the folks there. So you probably don't necessarily need to parchment line your dish like this if you're gonna be doing this recipe as well, but definitely would want to grease the pan at the very least. So my hack, here you go, here's my hack. If you're trying to parchment line something and the parchment won't stay down in the dish, just rub some coconut oil in your dish and then lay your parchment down and your parchment just sticks to it and it's totally safe. It's not going to ruin anything. So I just smothered it with some coconut oil and then the parchment stays in real good and nice. So there's my life hack for you. What I do love about this recipe that I have invented for myself, and hopefully from the future it does taste good, but what I love about this recipe is that the base layer and the top crumble layer are the same mix. So this is like uber easy. I'm gonna spread like half of this onto the base of my dish, bake it up for a little bit, add my sweetened, sugary huckleberry layer, put the topping on, and then finish baking it out. You guys could also use blueberries for this. I would definitely scale back the sugar a little bit if you're using blueberries or any other type of berry for this recipe, because huckleberries, if you are not familiar with huckleberries, if you are not familiar with huckleberries, they are quite tart and sour. It's almost like a cross between a cranberry and like if a cranberry and a blueberry had a baby, it would be a huckleberry, right? I feel like that's very accurate because it's got the really tartness of like a cranberry, but it also has some sweetness to it. And they are, they look just like a blueberry, like a red version of a blueberry. Gosh, can you guys see this? Hold on. So in our area, they are very abundant wherever there is old growth trees or trees that have fallen. In one little section of our yard, there was huckleberries that were there when we bought the house, and they have been thriving since they've gotten some more shade. So there's my life story on huckleberries. And while I'm waiting for the oven to finish preheating, I'm going to make my berry base. So I got my 2 cups of hucks. I'm going to do a tablespoon of cornstarch. You could also use tapioca starch or arrowroot powder. They all are very interchangeable. A 1/2 cup of sugar. And an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. These look like candy with the sugar coating them. These look delicious. Doesn't that look amazing? Okay, the oven is ready. So I guess I should be ready. Gonna put a good amount on the bottom. Probably like, I don't know, 2/3 of it. Press it, but don't press it too hard. Now this is gluten-free, so it's probably gonna be more crumbly than if it were not. But this way everybody can eat it. So it basically looks like a giant crumbly cookie. I'm gonna bake it for 18 minutes. Start a timer and then we'll go out to the garden. So the caveat for anybody that is new around here, this is a first-year gardening experience for me. So don't take any advice from me for gardening, but also I'm going to show you this in just a minute from the top view. This is a volunteer pumpkin plant. It is growing leaps and bounds better than the pumpkin that I intentionally planted. So all of that to say is nature is better at growing things than me right now. But let's go see the garden and see what my real life, first year ever, no experience necessary garden looks like, okay? Got a little basket, because I know we'll at least have some peas to harvest. I can't speak for much else, but this is, hold on, this is the volunteer pumpkin that is just going bonkers. There's actually 3 of them that popped up. This is just outside of my front door, like in my nice like flower garden area. We threw our pumpkins down here last fall, and I just didn't even think about the fact that they would pop up. I mean, I know this, I know better. But I was gonna show you, where is the actual pumpkin at? Oh, here it is. You see that? It's actually starting. So this is a female, I'm learning things. And then all of these other sprouts here that are coming up, like this one, this is a male. So they will cross-pollinate when the bees come, and that's what makes the world go round, okay? Now, to the real garden. Just ignore, I've got a lot of cardboard situations happening right now and lots of weeds I'm trying to suppress, but there is green things growing in here, and I am very proud of that. So this is the pea situation. I mean, they are all the way up, going across the top of my trellis, which was all of my hopes and dreams. So let's see, let me put my bucket down. And we'll see about these peas. Oh yeah, we've definitely got some to harvest today. I actually picked some last night, and I picked some asparagus, and we used it in a little stir-fried dish, so that was fun. That was our first, like, hey, I'm using this to cook a meal type of situation. So we will pick those. Here, I've got some chives that was eaten up by something, and they're coming back, so I'm trying to protect them with my little iced tea beverage thing. And then this is all carrots that are doing fantastic. My carrots that I planted in ground did not do great, but these ones in the raised bed are doing fantastic. This is a zucchini plant, which actually has, look at this, we've got real zucchinis going on here. Like, I'm gonna blink and it's gonna be 10,000 pounds, because that's how zucchinis grow. Behind me, this is a mini butternut squash that's happening. These are lupines, just ignore. These are not going to go in my garden space. These are gonna go somewhere else on my property, but I'm just starting them in here and keeping them safe. I have 2 watermelon plants. These are a wish and a prayer, because our climate in our area is probably not hot enough, not even close to hot enough for watermelons, but I've been keeping them in their little happy greenhouses, and we'll just see. These are experiments. My plan this year for gardening was to just get things in the ground and start learning, so that's what we're accomplishing this year. We are getting things in the ground and we are learning. On this side of my trellis, we have more peas, more carrots. These ones aren't doing quite so well. Oh, I got a big old weed that just popped up like overnight. This is a kabocha squash, so I'm excited about this. I actually have another one over beyond all of this garbage. It's not garbage, it just doesn't look great. There's another one growing right there. And then we have cucumbers. My cucumbers have just struggled, and I don't know if it's because they're on this side of the trellis and they're not getting the morning sun, only the afternoon sun. These are some fruit trees that I am nursing back to life. They're actually doing pretty okay. And that is some nasturtium that I did plant, and it's happy right there in the corner. Now, before I go any further, I want to explain, so my cardboard, not that I need to explain to you people, but there is a rhyme and reason for what I'm doing in this garden. It doesn't look like it right now, but there is. So all of this cardboard I'm laying down mostly to suppress the weeds from growing into this garden space, but also my hope and dream is, like, imagine an imaginary line of pavers all the way down to the end, and then this side of the garden will all be for, like, the orchard, a fruit orchard, anything that takes up a lot of space. It'll be like grassy, orchardy area. Everything from this side to the fencing is going to be like the garden, the nice dirt that I plant things in. So I'm working on creating a division here, and so I'm just, like, slowly working my way out to where I can put pavers down and, like, make it look like a respectable garden. So, you know, someday I'll be a grown-up and do these things. In these rows, we've got sunflowers. Look at this one. I mean, this one is almost up to my knee. So this one's growing good. sunflowers with some popcorn mixed in. Yes, popcorn. I've got another 2 rows of popcorn here. And then this is regular sweet corn here. Now this plant is my pepper plant, which I'm actually gonna pick that pepper. So I'm attempting to make a little greenhouse here with my garbage bag situation because this pepper plant has just been struggling. And this pepper has been on here. Let's see if I can even pull it off. It's been on here forever. Hold on. And by forever, I mean like over a month. We're going on a month and a half of this thing, and it's not really gotten any bigger. It's finally starting to turn yellow. So I feel like let's just get this puppy off and hopefully this plant can move along with life. So this is like a tiny bell pepper, but there is some yellowing on it. So I don't know, everything that Google told me was to just, I've done everything Google told me to do. And so this is where we're at. Now here I have 3 tomato plants, and this is a basil plant. This is a loofah gourd. Don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I successfully revitalized these 3 tomato plants with some direction from a friend who has a lot of experience. So I planted these, and then we had 2 frost days. This was like back in April, end of April. And these puppies just suffered, but we are happy now, aren't we? Aren't we, tomato plants? So this one's doing the best. So I got a couple different varieties, and we will see what comes of them. Then we have 2 rows of potatoes. I'm excited to dig those up in about a month. We've got a row of some onions. These are kind of hard to see from up above, but look at them grow. We're doing great. This is the row of carrots that did something. And then this is the row of carrots that did not. As you can see, there is none. But if we come up here, I do have some lettuce that is growing. Something was nibbling on it, so I covered it up, and it has done great ever since. So thank you, orange juice. Edamame. Not sure what will come of this. Again, experimenting and learning as we go, but they're doing okay. This is an experiment tomato plant that was really struggling, so I actually put a bag up over it yesterday, and we're gonna see how it does. It does have a tomato on it. Let's see if I can show it to you without undoing my whole contraption here. I don't know if you can see that tomato right there. It's got one growing, but not much leaves, and it was really struggling, so giving it a little greenhouse effect. This and this. These are the field pumpkins that I planted on purpose. Look at how small and sad they are, and they're like, why are you growing straight up? Why aren't you vining on the ground? I have no answers. So I just gave up on these 2. I was like, you know what, my volunteer pumpkins will be plentiful, so not worried about that. Got some small blueberry bushes, a nice little strawberry patch. My asparagus has been surprising me over and over and over again. We keep getting asparagus coming up, and this is my first year with these. So I did not expect anything from these this year, and I have been pleasantly surprised. So thank you very much, asparagus. This, you guys, this is my pride and my joy right now. Ooh, I need to pluck that off. Okay, this is a giant pumpkin, as in, yes, like the ones you see in the contests. This is a giant pumpkin, and I have grown this thing from a seed. My brother got me into all of this shenanigans, and I am pleasantly surprised with my first experience here. I know nothing. I do know I'm supposed to be pulling these off and letting it continue to vine, so we don't want it producing any pumpkins quite yet. So I'm just gonna pop these heads off. Oh, my timer's going off. Let's head back inside. But honestly, that's pretty much the gist of my veggie garden. That's what we're at so far. That's what we're doing. I'll come back out here and harvest all that in just a moment. Lunch was delicious and devoured, but I did want to give you guys an update on this kinetic sand kit that I impulse bought back like at the end of May, I believe it was. I did a video and I showed you guys this. $8. $8 at TJ Maxx, impulse bought this. This has been just the pride and joy of our deck this summer. This kinetic sand has, I mean, look, it's been some places and seen some things. There is, I don't know what's all in it, but it will survive till the end of summer. There's still some clean kinetic sand in that container over there. But this is what came in the kit. It's just like this little beach kit. It's got, what did it come with? Like a little sand castle, a shark. Anyway, some of this stuff. This has been played with almost every single day for a month straight. And like I said, it just lives on our deck. It gets all over the deck, like it's everywhere. But I just sweep it off when we pretend that never happened. Everybody loves this. This has been a hit, so I highly recommend. And kinetic sand does not dry out, so you can just leave it out. Like you don't have to worry about covering it up. It's not like Play-Doh or anything like that. And we cannot have a sandbox because we have cats, and they would just poo-poo in it. But this has been a great alternative. And like I said, it just lives on the deck. They play in the pool. Where is it? They play in the pool and then they get out and they play in the sand. And it has just been, it's been fun. It's been a fun time. So there you go. There's my hot take and my review on the one and only kinetic sand sandbox set. Okay, I really got to get moving now. I've been enjoying my peace and quiet, but I gotta get rolling and get to the track. My nephew is racing at the small track today, and then my husband is racing at the big track, and they are next door to each other. So it's lots of family excitement happening, and I want to try and get there in time to see my nephew do his main event. But first, let's go try out that huckleberry streusel bar situation. These bars are still very warm. I actually stuck them in the fridge to try and cool them quickly. And like the bottom of the pan is still very warm. So we're just gonna pull them out here. Hold on. They're very, very gooey, so I might throw them into the freezer for just a few minutes. But let's taste them. All right, all of my hopes and dreams here. The bottom crust is definitely crispy. It's like brown crispy. That is absolutely delicious. The rosemary in it, that was a good move. Adds just like another depth of flavor. Like it could go without the rosemary, but the rosemary, this feels like perfectly sweet. It doesn't feel overly sweet. There's enough crunchy and liquidy bits. It's so good. Okay, you guys gotta try the recipe. Now you know. All right, just gonna help myself to a few more bites. All right, let's go to the racetrack and share these. I can report from the future that on this day, this was Saturday that I made those bars, they were gone by Sunday night, so they were a big hit. My dad actually ate 2 in a row and he was like, these are really good. So shout out to my dad. Thank you so much for taste testing them. I hope you guys enjoy the recipe. When I got to the track, my daughter and my niece and my nephew had set up a little farm stand, so I checked out all the goods that they were selling. They were selling some produce and some flowers, and my dad had 3D printed a whole bunch of toys. So they sold those to all the little kids at the track and they absolutely loved it. It was a big hit. We had so much fun watching the races. It was a beautiful day. It is definitely fun going back to our old track and watching all of the kids race and just reliving all the fun memories. And kids racing is really exciting. It's actually way more exciting than adult racing in my opinion. But then we headed over to the big track for my husband's race. I will report that he didn't do terrible in his race, but he also didn't wreck out. There was several cars that wrecked out of the race, and that's nerve-wracking to watch. But he did lose his power steering towards the end of the race, and he ended up spinning himself out, and he hit one of the big, huge barrier tires. I actually have a picture of it coming up so you can see that. It was a little nerve-wracking to watch, but everything was fine. He was fine. The car's mostly fine. It just had some dings and dents that need to be popped out, and otherwise it looks like it's okay, but he does need to figure out his power steering situation moving forward. So we had a really good time and lots of memories were made. Thank you so much, you guys, for hanging out with me today and spending time with me today. If you try out the recipe, please let me know how you like it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.